Welcome to Transformative Principal. I am really excited to talk to you about what I'm going to talk about today. But first, I want to make sure that you know about the Transformative Leadership Summit. I'm getting that all prepared right now, and that's going to be a special event going from July 31st through August 8th, and I hope that you will join me for that. It is going to be 8 days of intense learning, and you are really going to enjoy it. So please join me for that. Go to transformativeleadershipsummit.com to sign up for that. And let's talk about what we're going to talk about tonight. Well, tonight for me. Maybe you're listening to it during the day. I don't know. But I'm going to talk about the growth of Kodiak Middle School over the last 3 years. I have implemented something from every single one of the interviews that I've done, and it's been pretty amazing. We've done some really cool things that are just awesome. So I want to talk about it a little bit. And what we did at Kodiak Middle School is we implemented 34 initiatives in 3 years. Now, that sounds like a lot, and it is. But with my approach of continuous improvement, where we are constantly looking at what we're doing and seeing how we can improve and change, it doesn't seem like that much, because every step we take is a little step, and it is amazing. So in keeping with the theme of the Transformative Leadership Summit this summer, I'm going to talk about this through the lens of the school experience. And so this is an exciting thing for us to talk about. So first, we're going to talk about the student experience. And I'm not going to go over all 34, but if you look at the show notes at transformativeprincipal.org, you're going to see a whole bunch of different things that are on that list. And again, not going to talk about it all, but I'm going to talk about some of the things. So number one is the home visits that we have done. And when we looked at our school climate and connectedness survey, we knew that our students needed a better experience for school. The School Climate and Connectedness Survey is a survey that we do here in Alaska that gives us information on what staff and student perceptions of our schools are. Very powerful to get that information. Happens each year, and we've been doing it for many years in my district. And so one of the things that we have done is we started saying that we meet the needs of each student rather than every student. And when we say each student instead of every student, we indicate that we recognize that each student is a unique individual with his or her own unique strengths, abilities, weaknesses, and interests. And when we say every student, we speak collectively and we make generalizations. So we made a conscious decision to value each of our students for who they individually are. Now, the first initiative that not the first one I'm going to talk about, because I didn't put these in any order, is the home visits. This is so powerful, and I cannot stress enough how amazing it is to go visit the homes of all the students in your school and let them know that you care about them and that they matter. This is incredibly powerful. So if you do not have a way for you to get out and do home visits, I would strongly encourage that, because it is definitely very, very powerful to do. The next thing that I want to talk about is our tutorial system. Now, if you go to transformativeprincipal.org/episode 100, I talk a lot about how we set that up, the process we went through, and how important it is. But let me give you the 30-second pitch here. Our tutorial system exists to make sure that students get what they need when they need it. And we find a way to ensure that everybody has opportunities for enrichment or remediation at the level that's appropriate for them. When I started at Kodiak Middle School, we did not have a lot of things in place that should be part of a multi-tiered system of support. We had no time in the schedule for Tier 2 interventions. We had overloaded time for Tier 3 interventions for reading and writing, and we didn't have math support for students who needed it. And our only source of enrichment was electives, and those were limited to just one STEAM opportunity and music. So in order to fix these problems, we had to make some intentional changes. We met with our building leadership team and discussed what possibilities existed, and then we figured out how to solve all of the problems listed above. The tutorials and foundations classes supported students who needed the supports. Students use the Tier 2 tutorial system for intervention or enrichment, and then community members came in to help with different experiences for the students. So we had a whole bunch of different enrichment opportunities: longline fishing, painting classrooms and offices, eCyber mission, we had 3 teams win a competition for that recently, which is amazing, over $7,500 in savings bonds to those students. Identifying fake news, welding, AutoCAD, exercise, basketball, yoga, handball, dodgeball, volleyball, drawing, Alutiiq beading. That's our native Alaskan culture here. Various food making opportunities, high school applications for private high schools. Below are some of the intervention opportunities that we had: division basics, fractions, math facts, multiplying and dividing rational numbers, European countries and capitals, ratios, rates, proportion, percentages, linear equations, yearbook, imagine learning, writing for success, and so many others. This tutorial system, I got to tell you, has been amazing. It's so exciting to see what it has done. In addition to that, we've also done a lot of flexible seating in our school. We have purchased 4 different seating arrangements for every single classroom: stationary bikes, standing desks, wobbly stools, and regular good old-fashioned chairs, but we bought some comfortable ones. Well, as comfortable as, school chairs can be. So now every classroom has at least 4 different options for kids to choose from, which is really amazing for our kids. And many of our teachers do not have seating charts, and kids are allowed to move to the learning environment that'll be best for them. And be sure to check out transformativeprincipal.org to see some of the great things that some of our teachers have done. Furthermore, when we did the tutorial system, we were able to add in an extra elective opportunities for our kids, which made it so that students could choose up to 2 different electives instead of just 1, which was really awesome as well. And finally, one thing that has had a very big impact on us is trauma-informed strategies for our students. And there are many things that we do to support our students, and it really becomes a mindset about how we recognize that each student is individual, and we help that student get what they need when they need it. And it's really powerful. One of the things that we did is we, how those fidget spinners are all the rage right now? Well, we created a fidget box 2 years ago for every adult in our school to give out fidgets to students who needed something to take help themselves regulate. And so secretaries, aides, custodians, teachers, everybody had a fidget box that they could give to students. The fidget boxes included stress balls, Rubik's Cubes, Play-Doh, Silly Putty, water timers, colored pencils and crayons, feeling charts, mandalas, pipe cleaner, and then we've added more stuff to that since then. And so what we've learned is that when we have these students who are dysregulated, sometimes they need help regulating themselves again. And so we have done the work to help them be able to do that by providing them with support in the form of these fidget boxes. Now, that doesn't mean that kids can just go take it whenever they want and use it as a distraction. A fidget is meant to help them focus and be successful. It is not meant to be a distraction. And so when we look at the student experience as it relates to trauma-informed care, we recognize that it's really about empathy, respect, and understanding for each student in our school and what they individually need. The next part that I want to talk about is the teacher experience. And so we need to understand some history of the middle school. When I told people in the community when I moved here that I was going to be the principal at Kodiak Middle School, many said that it was a rough school and that people could be difficult. And I started asking people what we should start, stop, and continue at the middle school. And the assistant principal, Damon Hargraves, at Damon Hargraves on on Twitter, he was fantastic at helping me see the positives that each person brought to the school. So it was really amazing to have him there next to me, always telling me that the middle school is ready for good leadership and ready to do something different. So before Kodiak Middle School, I served in Title I elementary school and in the instructional support office in my previous district. And we had a major focus on being in the classrooms and supporting teachers. So in the first school year, the assistant principal and I logged over 900 observations to fulfill the district goal of 3 classroom observations per day. And as you learn from the Transformative Leadership Summit, that if you don't give feedback and professional development to go in with those observations, then they're pretty much useless. And so we took the data that we were seeing in the classrooms and we developed professional development for the teachers to do that. As staff has changed and new people have come on, we have done more emphasis on helping teachers do their differentiated professional development so they're getting what they need when they need it, rather than everybody getting the exact same thing from us. And so we'd have a focus in staff meetings, but we'd break it up into 2 or 3 small groups so that people could have a different opportunity to go deeper in different areas. Another thing we did to improve the teacher experience was we provided common planning periods. The way that it was at first was teachers had common planning periods by content area, which is typically fine. However, in our situation, all social studies teachers, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, there was just one person each. And so they didn't have an opportunity to really talk about the kids they were working with. They were talking more about content. Part of our strategy of making the focus on each individual student was that we wanted the teachers to collaborate around kids rather than around content. And so we put our core teachers, math, ELA, science, and social studies, into common planning periods so they could focus on the needs of their students rather than on the needs of the teachers and their content. So when the teachers collaborate about students rather than about content, they're able to focus on what those students need and find ways to help them. And we continue to see great growth when teachers use that time to collaborate with their peers and create this special environment that meets kids where they are. Finally, we also did a lot of shared and distributed leadership. We created a leadership team at the middle school, which helped other people have a part in the decision-making process, which is incredibly powerful for the staff to understand that their opinion, their voice matters, and they need to be part of that decision-making process so that they can be successful. The principal in a building leadership team situation does not abdicate his responsibility of leading the school, but uses that leadership team and the committees to help make the best decision possible. And what's really amazing is that the principal can take the rap for all the negative things that happen and say that the committee did all of the great things that happen in the school. And when you are the leader, you have to take responsibility, because everything that happens under the roof of your organization is a result of your leadership. And so the beauty of that is that we are able to then be flexible and create different committees to meet our specific needs and then adjust and change over time, which I think is very cool. So I like that a lot. One last thing that we talked about, or that we did at Kodiak Middle School, is co-teaching. And 2 teachers approached me at the end of the 2015-16 school year. No, 2014-15 school year, and said they'd like to try reaching special education students in a little bit different way. Traditionally, we have pulled students out of their core classes so they could get below grade level instruction in the special ed resource classrooms. If we're always teaching them below grade level content, then we can never expect them to reach their grade level material. So we followed the lead of these 2 teachers after they did a pilot for 1 year, and a couple other teachers joined in with them. And what happens with that is a special ed teacher and our general ed teacher are in the same classroom teaching the content, and they're doing small group instruction, differentiating instruction, and doing different things to make sure that students get their needs met. I don't think that co-teaching is the best and always most appropriate thing, but like many other services that we do at the middle school, this is one more thing that we can do to make the experience better for everyone. What that really allowed was teachers to learn from each other in a way that they didn't typically get a chance to. So every single day this last school year, we have had at least 9 teachers in classrooms with each other the whole year long. How amazing is that? Every single day, 2 teachers in a classroom, learning from each other, sharing resources, getting better. It's really fantastic. Finally, the parent experience. When I got to Kodiak Middle School, we did not have PTSA, and there was one that was in place a few years before, but we had a mom who stepped up to become the president of the PTA, and she did a lot of great things to get it running, and that is a really great organization to have. Gives you insight into what the parents want, gives them a place to bring concerns, and has been very powerful. Another thing that did not exist at first was a social media presence. And so if you go through the archives here of how I do social media at my school, you can see how we start everything with an Instagram post and how that goes to Facebook and then to Twitter. And if you start on Facebook, then it goes to Twitter as well, to make sure that people can know what is going on. And one of the parents commented that she was excited to have her daughter at the middle school, and looking at the Facebook page was one of the selling points of getting her daughter to look forward to moving to an island in the Gulf of Alaska, which, as you can imagine, may not be that exciting for many middle school girls. So seeing what we were doing really helped our parents understand the cool things that were happening for their kids. And finally, I want to end with where I started with the home visits. One parent last year had just gotten home from a long trip across country, took a red-eye flight to get back to Kodiak, and she had just gotten in, and they stayed up waiting because they were so excited that we were coming to visit them in their homes. And so visiting the homes of our students doesn't just let the kids know that we care, it also lets the parents know that we care. So I wanted to share some of these things with you and just let you know how grateful I am to have served with so many wonderful people at Kodiak Middle School. And as I move on to my new job in Fairbanks, Alaska, I'm just grateful that I've been able to learn so much and work with so many awesome people. As I said in the last episode that I did like this, the monologue thing, it's not very comfortable for me to do this, and I just feel like I'm rambling. So if that's what's happening, I'm sorry. But I'm really excited about the cool things that we've been able to do and wanted to make sure that I took some time to share them. Also, there's no way that I could have done any of this by myself. It took a great team who was dedicated and supportive and willing to take some risks to help us be successful. Most importantly, they were willing to buy into a continual improvement process so that they could do what was best for each student at our school. And once again, if you want to learn more about the school experience and how it can help you improve, check out transformativeleadershipsummit.com and come and look at the amazing things that so many educators across the country are doing and how you can make your school the best it can be for each student. Thanks so much for listening.